Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I've been to London, Paris, Dubai, and Mexico, and there are certain things I've done to save money on each of these trips. Growing up, for fun, back in New York, we would go window shopping for fun. For family vacations, we would go to New Jersey. Like, I didn't take any big vacations growing up, and hearing other people saying that they've been to like Europe as a kid, or oh yeah, I went to Morocco, like I just found it really cool. So I thought to myself, when I get older, and when I get my first full-time job, I am gonna be traveling. And here I am. I wanna share 7 ways that you can save money while traveling, and these 7 tips I use every time I travel. Let's get started. Okay, I wasn't feeling the bun, so I switched it up real quick. But my number 1 travel tip is to be flexible on the location. What does that mean? For instance, let's just say you wanna go to Turks and Caicos in July. Round trip is $2,000, but in October, round trip is $1,000. You're saving $1,000 just to wait to travel during the off-peak season, which is the best time to travel. This is why I say to be flexible on the location. The summertime, the holidays is the worst time to travel, and sometimes you're not in control of that. For instance, if you're going on a birthday trip and the birthday person wants to go to a certain location in the summertime, you're gonna have to deal with it. There are other ways to save money. But if it's in your control, wait, check out the prices, and if you really wanna go somewhere, just wait until it's cheaper. During the peak season, the demand is high, so the travel industry will take advantage of this because school is out, people are out on summer breaks, people are graduating and wanna take trips. They'll spike up the prices just because of that. Don't be their target group. Travel off season if you can. There are several websites you can look at to see like when the best time to travel. I use Google Flights. I use my travel portal through my travel credit card, which I'll be talking about soon. But there are several websites. Let's just say if you want to go to Turks and Caicos, it'll tell you like, oh, maybe October is the best time, or maybe September is the best time. So definitely be flexible when you're traveling because it'll save you lots of money. Remember, flight and hotel is gonna be the most expensive thing you'll pay for when you're traveling. So if you can reduce the cost of your flights just by waiting, then do so. My second tip is to get a travel credit card. If you travel very often, travel credit cards have so many benefits. When I was younger, I would get so many mails from different banks asking me to get their credit cards. They had so many offers. I was getting so many mails with these credit cards. And people around me would say, credit cards are bad. You don't want to get a credit card. You don't want to be broke. Don't get a credit card. And I believed them until sophomore year of college. I was like, wait, I have 2 more years of college and I would like to get an apartment by myself after college, but I don't have any credit history. So I was like, you know what? Let me get a credit card. My first credit card was the Discover Student Credit Card. Fast forward 5 years later, I actually have 5 credit cards and I absolutely love it. I feel like credit cards are bad if you don't know how to use it. If you're misinformed, if you don't pay on time, bad things can happen. But if you're smart about your credit cards, you will see that there's so many benefits. And I feel like this is why it's important. It's good to like take others' advice, but it's also important to do your own research. I knew how smart and responsible I was in middle school and high school. I would have been able to handle a credit card. But I just listened to others and I thought credit cards were bad, so I never even bothered with it until I realized like I need credit. I love using my travel credit cards because of the amount of points and miles that I get. Let's just say for instance, I'm traveling, right? I need to book a flight and hotel. Yeah, I can go on Expedia or bookings.com or any other websites, but I can get points by going through my travel credit card portal. So I believe I earn 5% if I book through the portal on flights, and then hotels I earn 10%. So I'm not spending more money just to get points. I would have already bought the flight and the hotel on another website, but I'm gonna go through the travel portal because the prices are cheap because they compare it to like other websites like Bookings and Expedia. But also I'm getting extra money just by going through the travel portal. So that's one thing I love about my travel credit cards is that I'm earning points and miles, and I can use that for my next trip, which will reduce the cost for me. Lounge access, if you're in Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, there are several lounges. So on the screen, you'll see all the benefits. I just took a screenshot of it on the app. These are all the benefits I get. by having a travel credit card. Now, certain travel credit cards, like if they're really good benefits, you're gonna have to pay like an annual fee. There's some that are zero, but my annual fee is, I believe, $395 a year, which I know sounds a lot, but hear me out. So one, I receive up to $300 in statement credits through Capital One Travel. What does that mean? So if I spend at least $300 by making purchases within the travel portal, so that's flight, hotels, rental cars, I get $300 back. So that's $395 minus $300, which is $95. So it's really $95. Then there's a benefit called Anniversary Bonus Miles, and I get 10,000 bonus miles every year starting on your first anniversary. So that's $100. That converts to $100, which means 100 minus 95 is $5. That's $5 I'm earning a year just by having a travel credit card. So I know $395 seems like a lot at first, but once you do the math, I'm not actually paying anything by having my Venture X card, which is really nice. And there's so many benefits, not even just travel credit cards, but there's just so many benefits on using credit cards like a debit card. Like, I can make a whole different video on this, but I have so many like everyday cashback credit cards, and they're just great, honestly. My tip is to get a travel credit card. Look into it. If you travel often, it might be worth it. And when I did the research, like, wow, this is actually worth it. I'm making extra money just by having a credit card, and the annual fee, I mean, goes out the window because of the statement credits and all the money that I get back. So I find it to be very, very helpful, and I feel like it's worth it. And usually when you get like a credit card, they'll have like some welcome offer. So I think for Venture X, it was like, I can't remember the exact numbers, but when I first got it, it was like if you spend $4,000 in 6 months, you get money back. And I think it was like $800 in statement credits, which was amazing. And it was crazy because around that time I was planning on getting like a new couch. I was getting new things, and I used the card to pay rent, so I was able to get that welcome offer, which is really, really nice. So that's what some people do. They'll get a new credit card if they know they have a big expense. If they're traveling, you might as well just get the welcome offer money, and it's great. And then you have a new credit card. So that's my tip. My third tip is to search for free things you can do at your chosen destination. For instance, when we went to London, we didn't pay for any tours. No excursions, no activities. We just did a lot of sightseeing. We wanted to take the metro like the locals, and we just walked. We walked everywhere. We took pictures outside. There's certain places where you can do that, certain places where you don't. It's exciting to just see the Eiffel Tower from the outside. You can go inside. I believe you could pay to dine inside. But most people take pictures outside of the Eiffel Tower and, just take pictures in front of it, make videos. Same thing with Big Ben. There are people outside just taking pictures of it. And it's free. You don't have to pay for anything. You're just paying for the metro to get to the touristy landmark, and then you're done. Same thing when we went to Paris, we went to the Louvre Museum. A lot of people were outside just taking pictures. There are some people inside who wanted to pay to go inside the museum, but for me, I just wanted to be there to take pictures outside. And I feel like with certain tours, they kind of rush you sometimes, especially if it's like, if you're going to multiple locations, you have like a certain amount of time at each location. But if you're on your own, you can go to many places, stay as long as you want, take pictures, take videos, so it's nice. Now versus Dubai, we did go on a couple of tours. The tours were really cheap in Dubai, which is nice, and they offered like hotel pickup and drop off. But there are a lot of places where you can go inside, but Dubai, we wanted to do tours. So it really depends on your location, but I feel like with each location, there's something to do for free. There's always something, so definitely take advantage of that. In Dubai, there's lots of things you can do, and it can get really expensive. Dubai doesn't have to be expensive. If you guys want to see how much I spent in Dubai and all my travel vlogs, every time I travel, I do make a how much I spent. So definitely take a look at how much I spent in Dubai. But again, like when I was thinking about going to Dubai, I was like, oh my gosh, this is something that I would do in my 30s. But then when I did the calculations, I was like, wait, I can do this now. And I went last year, And it wasn't even that expensive. It can get expensive if you do everything, if you pay for every tour, every activity. But when you get there, just pick and choose what you want, you know? Maybe do, like, if you're staying there for a week, maybe pay for 3 activities, and the rest you could just find like free activities. But that's my third tip. There's always something that you can do for fun that's free where you don't have to spend too much. Look for those things in your destination. My fourth tip is to book activities ahead of time just to be worry-free. And I feel like when you get to your destination and you book there, it's gonna be more expensive, I feel like. Because, you know, they wanna make money. They're making money off of tourism. So it's gonna be more expensive, but also you might have to wait in a long line. Who wants to deal with that on vacation? So this is why I like to create an itinerary. I have an idea of where I'm gonna go. I'm not like time constrained. And this is why I like planning an itinerary ahead of time so I know where I'm gonna go, what I'm gonna do each day. I'm not like too strict, but at least it's a good idea just to have an idea of where you wanna go each day. And there are 3 websites I trust and that I use to book excursion or tours. It's Viator, TripAdvisor, and Get Your Guide. All 3 have apps, but you can just look online. These 3 places, I book my tours. But this relates to my other point, which was getting a travel credit card. With Capital One Venture X, I can get cash back on several websites. So when I book my tours, like on Viator or TripAdvisor, I can go through my travel portal. It will send me a direct link I can click on, and if I purchase something on that website, I get money back, which is really nice. And they have so many websites listed, and I keep forgetting to look at Capital One when I want to book something online or when I pay for something online. I literally paid for my nightstands the other day on Wayfair. I didn't go through Capital One, and I could have gotten 5% back. That's one thing you have to remember. It's just like looking on there and searching for the website you want to make a purchase on. But yeah, so definitely book ahead of time. My 5th tip is to save up ahead of time. I have several high yield savings accounts, and I make money each month by having these savings accounts. Guys, I'm just giving you all the good tips. Yes, I am making money just by having several savings accounts open. If you're interested in a high yield savings account, I highly recommend Capital One. Again, do your research. But I am making, on one of my accounts, I'm making around $160 each month by just having that account. Just by having money there. I'm making monthly interest, which is kind of crazy just by having an account. But yeah, so I have like a travel savings account. I put money into that category, into that account each month, so that when it's time to book, when it's time to think about where I'm gonna go, I already have money there. Of course, you can't get ready if you stay ready. Remember that. So if you enjoy traveling, just save up for it. So you already have money set aside so that you're not scrambling, you know, that month when you're trying to book your travels, and you're not thinking about, oh, from this paycheck I can get this amount, or from this paycheck. You don't have to think about that. You already have the money there. So that's my biggest tip, is just to save up for it, you know? Create your travel savings account, put money, you can start off with just $50 each month, $100 each month, whatever you feel comfortable, so that when it's time to travel, you have it there, you don't have to scramble, and you're worry-free. My 6th tip is to check out different airports for arrival. I'm gonna share with you quickly 2 instances where choosing a different airport saved us a lot of money. When we were going to London and Paris, we wanted to go to London first, all right? And this is what I'm talking about with flexibility. We went to London first. Going from Dallas to London was so expensive. So when we checked Paris, we were like, oh my gosh, that's so much less by going to Paris first. Then we could just take the train, which is, it's really easy to go from like Paris to London, but we just took the train from Paris to London. It saved us a lot of money by choosing to go to Paris first. I don't know what it was, but it was just so expensive to go to London first. That's my first instance. My second instance, where choosing a different airport saves a lot of money, was when we went to LA. We wanted to go to LA, but flying from Dallas to LAX was super expensive. So then we looked at a different location. We looked at San Diego. San Diego was so beautiful. And San Diego is like a 2-hour drive to LA. And the flights from Dallas to San Diego was much more less than going to LAX. So we spent a lot of money. So what we did was we got a rental car. And we were planning to get a rental car anyway for LA. But we found an Airbnb in San Diego, flew from Dallas to San Diego, and then just drove 2 hours to LA. So if you're thinking about traveling and you wanna see like multiple countries in a week, start to look at different airports you can fly into because it could save you a lot of money. I don't know why at that time, like going from here to London was just so much more, like it was a crazy amount, guys. I almost fell off my chair. I was like, what? How do you go to London be this expensive? And it was winter time. But yeah, it was just so expensive. But you know, flying to Paris, it was so much less. So I didn't know that, honestly. So now I know when I travel, I'm gonna look at neighboring airports. And yeah, like if that airport is maybe 30 minutes away from your Airbnb or your hotel, you might want to do it. I don't know, but it could save you a lot of money. My last and final tip is to research common tourism scams for your destination. Let me tell you a quick story. I remember this story a couple years ago. A woman and her daughter went to Greece. They went to a restaurant, and this should have been a red flag for them, but it wasn't. But the menus didn't have the prices on there. I don't know why, maybe it's because the prices depend on the market, but there were no prices on there. They ordered, they ate, and then the bill came, and the bill was like $1,000-something. Like it was a crazy amount, and they didn't order like anything fancy. It was just something basic, and they were like, "No, like this is wrong." And the people at the restaurant was like, "Well, you ate, you have to pay, or else I'll call the cops." And that's the last thing you want to hear when you go to a different country. It's like, "I'm gonna call the cops on you." Like you don't want to deal with that, so they paid. So that was a scam. So you definitely do want to be careful the common scams in the area that you want to go to. In London, pickpocketing is very like popular there, so you want to be careful of that. If someone doesn't know that and they go to London and they're like too loosey-loose with their bag and their items, you know, they can get robbed, so you want to be careful of that. And Mexico, maybe there were scams for me. I didn't experience it in Mexico, but Puerto Vallarta, like I told you guys before in my travel vlog videos, that they rely on tourism. So I remember my mom and I, when we first got there, we went to a restaurant and we paid, and she was like, "Have a nice day." And I was like, I was doing the math in my head. I was like, divided by that. And I was like, wait, I'm supposed to get changed back. So my mom was so funny. She was like, She got up and she walked straight to the woman. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, oh, it's not a big deal. I was like, it's okay. And my mom was like, we're supposed to be getting back change. And she did the math. She like punched some numbers in her calculator. And she was like, well, that's, $5 or $6 US. I can keep it for tip. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm like, she just took the money and I was supposed to get change back, but she took it for a tip. And like, that's something that you don't do here in America. If you have change, you're supposed to give it back. And then that person is supposed to decide whether they want to give you a tip or not. I was happy to give her a tip, but like, I was supposed to get change back. So it's not really a scam, I would say, but you want to be aware of that as well. There's a lot of panhandling. People can be aggressive in certain countries, so you just want to be careful. Those are my tips. This is the end of the video. I hope you guys found this interesting, very helpful. If you have, then make sure you like this video, subscribe if you like more content like this, and I hope that you're able to save a lot of money on your next travel vacation. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.